Welcome to the last edition of the Mercury for this school year. We will be back next year, so rest assured. Today I have a group of seniors from Exeter West Greenwich High School, and they're going to talk about the senior experience. And I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves first.
Hi, my name is Josh the Perch. I'm a senior.
Hi, I'm Jordan Saladale, and I'm also a senior.
My name is Nick Spardello.
I'm Ivan Forcier. And I'm Brendan Quigley.
Okay, again, I'm Mr. Brown's here, the faculty advisor here in the TV studio at Exeter West Greenwich High School. All right, I'm going to ask a fairly general question. You're all seniors here. You're graduating in 3.5 weeks, something along that line. Okay, you have senior presentations tomorrow, which we'll talk about later on. I'm going to start off with you, Brendan. Where are you going next year?
The University of Rhode Island.
Okay, what are you majoring in?
Business.
You're probably going to change that. You do know that, right?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, you're probably, I'm saying that, I don't know, but in 4 years, if you came up and said, I'm a psychology major now, I would not be surprised, because most people change their mind at least 3 times in college, which is okay. Now, that being said, you've been here for 4 years now, and been in the system since the Iowa Grasshopper, I'm assuming, okay? Are you prepped to go to college, in your opinion?
I think I am. I think the classes here at Exeter West Greenwich are, they definitely take a lot of effort, and I think it really preps you for, the college prep classes really do prepare you for maybe writing papers, meeting deadlines. I think it might relate to some of the work in college that we'll see, but I think it's definitely going to be a learning stretch. I think we might all be surprised by the difficulty of college, but I think for the most part, I think I've been very well prepared for a college classroom here at Exeter West Greenwich.
Okay. Ivan, what do you do?
I'm going to URI for kinesiology.
Okay. And same thing, I'm going to ask the same question. You're going for, again, you're going to change. Matter of fact, I'm willing to bet you, I'm going to predict your future. You're going to come back and say, I'm a physical therapy major at one point.
That's the same thing.
Huh? Not the same program.
Because it's grad school program is PT.
Right.
But you have to.
So, which is fine if you're going on to do that. Now, you're going off to college. You're going to stay there, I'm assuming. And
Yep.
Okay. Again, classes here. Are you afraid to go to college at all?
I mean, I think everyone's a bit nervous for the whole college experience because just like when we were in junior high coming into high school, we all thought it was going to be some hard thing. And then once we got to high school, we realized everyone's like we're all great people here. And it's not difficult, really. It's like a fun experience this high school. So I think it's going to be the same type of thing where everyone's nervous to go to college and you think it's going to be the hardest thing. Then you're going to get there and realize everyone's all good people there. It'll be fun, and I definitely think it'll be much harder than high school because, like, as with seniors this year, the workload is not as much as previous years. So I think it'll be a huge stretch in the classroom at college, but EWG, they prepared you for like meeting deadlines because you had to write big papers and meet the deadlines. Same thing applies in college, but I think the amount of effort is going to be a lot different, and time management will probably be the biggest thing, I think.
Okay.
I'm also going to URI for kinesiology, same program.
There's a pattern developing here.
Yeah, hopefully Ivan and I are planning on dorming together, which should be good.
Do you have that choice?
We do have that choice. You can put in a request, and usually they're very good about doing that, from what I've heard. But as far as college experience and how that goes, am I prepared for it? I feel as if the academics will come with time. You feel like if you can put in the effort, then you'll obviously be good at it. But living alone is not something that we've touched on yet. Living with your friends, you have nobody to look after you. I mean, that's really a big step. You have to plan out your days, when you're going to eat, what are you going to do. Are you going to go to class? You can skip class, and teachers aren't going to say anything to you. So, really now's your time to fly away and do whatever you feel is necessary, and some people sink. So.
I'm going to hop on what you said a moment ago. I won't mention the name, obviously, but probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I had a student here who, a group of people went together, and 2 of them did dorm together, and every single day he stayed in bed. And he ended up failing out after actually he went on probation after the first semester. Second semester, URI threw him out basically, because you're right, you don't have to go to class, and no one's going to say anything to you outside of taking attendance. And I know attendance now is taken usually electronically. You come in and you usually have some sort of you buzz yourself in, and you're attendance is a big thing. One of the things, we don't have an attendance policy here in the school. It's something that's been debated for years, but in college, they're not going to say anything, but it does go into your grade and whether you pass. What are you doing, Joe?
I feel like that is the number one question everyone wants to ask the seniors is where are you going? And I'm not going to college.
Okay.
I'm going to further my studies. Over the last couple of years, I've been really learning to beekeep. I've taken college level courses for beekeeping. And when I get out of high school, I'm really going to be promoting my business, which is natural honey-based beauty products.
I won't visit.
All natural, all local. I already have some venues booked. I have business cards. I have a website, Facebook page, Twitter. So really, graduating high school is going to just give me the ability to focus on making my business, expanding it, promoting it, and seeing where life takes me.
Let me ask you a question. You obviously got this business rolling. Where did you learn the business from?
So first it started off with mentoring. I mentored with a local beekeeper, and then I needed to get an interview for my senior research paper. So I just Googled local beekeepers, and a woman came up. She teaches college classes at URI. She actually formally invited me. And she does a lot of her own beauty product making herself. And so it just kind of inspired me to put my own twist on it and
Very good.
run with
Very
it.
good. We'll come back to that in a little while. Where are you going, Josh?
Next year, I'm going to be up at the University of Maine at Orono campus studying psychology.
Well,
Yep.
okay. That's way up there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty far up. It's about 5-6 hours.
I think Mr.
depending on
Searles,
traffic.
doesn't Mr. Searles' son go there?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, but
I know.
anyways.
Was it Matt Jackman? He graduated a while ago.
Okay.
He went there for a while.
What are you studying again?
Psychology.
Okay. Psychology, you're going to change your mind.
I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to change my mind on it.
Okay,
I
I'm
know.
saying this,
Yeah.
but statistically, that
Yeah.
does happen.
I could see myself going into a few other fields other than psychology, but I think that I'll stay there. You know, most people tend to drop around statistical psych because most people go into psych not knowing that entire major is statistics. But I don't know. I kind of know that's coming.
You prep for it?
Yeah, I'm prepared.
You afraid?
Not really. I'm afraid of the weather up there because we actually have one of the longest spring breaks out of anybody. It's an entire month because you get cabin fever.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's something I'm worried
I'd
about.
be afraid.
Yeah.
I'd be afraid if I
I'm
were going
afraid.
to your thing, but
Yeah.
that's just by default. All right, before we go to a break, I'm going to ask a couple of questions of all of you. You're obviously graduating, and you've got anyone have younger? I know you do. Okay, younger sisters and brothers coming up. Okay, and come up into. Let me ask this: you don't. Anyone coming into the high school next year or the next couple of years? That's it. You do. Okay.
Well, they're going to different schools, but same
All right.
idea.
What would you, going back now, what mistakes did you make in your 4 years here that you would go back and say, I wish I hadn't made that mistake, wish I had approached it differently? Or did everything go right? Did you make all the right decisions?
Definitely be more open to people, to friends. Enjoy yourself. Just focus on yourself and being happy and not anything else.
Do you find that people don't do that?
Yeah, I find that people are so worried about what everyone else thinks about you, so worried about just sticking to this one group of friends, and it gets you stuck.
Is that a typical high school
I think
approach?
so. I feel like when you come into high school, it's like there's cliques. You know, you're in a same group of friends for 4 years, and you don't really venture too far away from that, but it's good.
Happens to adults too. I mean, I don't mean to say that, but it's going to happen. And you know, it's funny. No matter where you go, I'm a teacher here in the building, and there are people I hang out with, and there are other people I'd rather not hang out with. And you're right, and that's something that continues. That's a social pattern that continues on in life. I'm going to be an old folk someday. I'm going to have my clique. I don't want to come up with the signs you came up with before off camera, but we're going to have our own little clique there, a little old folks clique. But you know that happens. So you're right, and that's more of a life philosophy. Any regrets?
I actually have a suggestion. One thing I would say is to really enjoy your 4 years. It goes by really quick. Everything you can possibly do for your school, whether it's an event, a dance, whatever. I really recommend you go to everything possible because more likely than not, it's going to be a really fun time. You might make some new friends. You might be able to make some memories that'll last a lifetime. And one thing I regret is my first couple years of high school. It's not that I didn't do that much, but I wish I would have done more things. So.
Okay.
I can kind of continue on with that and say, I remember I was in 8th grade coming into high school, and everyone's like, your 4 years is going to go quick. And I'm like, nah, I have 4 years of high school. It's going to seem like forever. But we're graduating in 3 months, and people I've been with through school since 1st grade, grown up with them for 12 years. It's like a bittersweet thing how everyone's moving on now, moving to college, and you've been with everyone in school for 12 years, and it's going to be gone, and you're never coming back to high school. But I will say, what Nick said, just do as much as you can. Do as much as you can. Just don't regret anything. Basically, just go out in high school and have fun. Obviously do your work, but just high school is probably gonna be the best 4 years of your life because the workloads.
I don't agree with that.
The work.
Just saying.
The
I don't agree that
workloads.
this is the best time of my life. If so, I'm getting early.
The workload's not too strenuous at all, and they just have a lot of fun, and it's an easy 4 years of just fun, and don't waste it.
Okay. You disagreed.
Yeah, I don't think that this is.
Can
the
we
best.
come back to that?
Sure.
We're going to go back in a moment with the Mercury.
Dude, what are you doing?
I'm just sending a text.
Come on, you shouldn't do that.
Why? What's the big deal, dude? It's alright.
Dude, we're gonna get into a...
Dude, you alright? Dude. Dude.
His friend was texting and driving.
Yeah, he doesn't look good at all.
Gotta get operation room prepped.
Let's get that ready now.
Where's your emergency?
Welcome back to the Mercury. We're going to finish up our discussion on the senior experience, and I'm going to continue on. Now, you said high school cannot be a fun time.
It can be a fun time. It's just that from my experience, high school really isn't that great. I don't know, just my experience was the best as anybody else's could have been. I just feel that there's way more out there. Going to college will be a brand new experience compared to what we've lived over the past 12 years, K through 12. It's just going to be another experience that you can add. That'll be more enriching.
I think our experience at Exeter West Greenwich, it's such a small school, and you see the same people every day, have the same friends every day. I think it's vastly different from other people's high school experience. I know that there's other small schools around the state, but I feel like if we went to a bigger high school, it might be different. But I just feel like we're kind of at a disadvantage seeing the same people every day, and it would be better if we kind of branch out. Going to college might be more valuable than high school.
It's funny, I was thinking as you were saying that, I went to Shea High School in Pawtucket, and much more diverse high school. There's good and bad out of that. The good part of it is, you're right, I had friends of a variety of nationalities and religious beliefs, and that much more than you would around here. However, the negative side of that sometimes is that there's a lot more conflict, and I'm not putting a value statement on that, but that was a fact. So there's good and bad out of that. But I will say, I've been here since '92. As a teacher, I'm perpetually in high school, going through the 4 years you guys are going through. So I'm always here. But you are at an advantage over a lot of schools because there is this, in my opinion, this setting in the school is sort of family-like. It's not a cold atmosphere, and a lot of high schools have a cold atmosphere. You don't have that here. You don't. So that's an advantage, in my opinion. And that can be, and there are some data sides, everything.
Yeah.
Now, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about how you're funding your college and your future business. It's going to cost you money if it hasn't already done that.
Yes.
And right, to make money, you have to put some money into it, and that's a fact of life in pretty much anything you do. And Brendan, off camera, you were saying you're going to be funding some of your education.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm working. I have a summer job for the state of Rhode Island in the summer, so I definitely a portion of that goes to college, and definitely I've been working the last 3 years. So the last 2 years it hasn't really been on the radar, but this year it's definitely going to be a section portion of my paycheck going to school. And pretty much my parents have saved money over the course of my life, so I definitely need to start saving more, keep a section portion to use on college now. So
Colleges are getting more expensive as years go on. It's outstripping what a lot of parents can afford. It's just a fact of life. It's going very quickly. The prices are increasing drastically. Now, anyone else? I'm going to go to your business for a second. You've already funded your business?
I actually work 2 jobs. I work in a nursing home and I work at a flower nursery. I know that kind of like college a little bit, you can get help from people if you're involved in certain things. Like I am involved in the Rhode Island Beekeeping Association. I'm involved in the Bristol Beekeeping Association. And so these associations really try and work very hard at helping the community that's involved with it. And also getting my LLC, and that opens up doors for me because, investors, especially because I'm a woman investors, people are very interested in that, and they're very interested in helping and local businesses. So it's really about just looking for help and being able to find it and being able to put yourself out there and represent yourself in a sophisticated business manner.
Good, very good. Looking forward to buying something.
Oh, definitely. I already have a couple of venues squared away for the summer.
Cool.
I'll be at the Washington County Fair. I'll be at the Fantastic Umbrella Factory. Trying to have a stand at Shartner's Farm. Trying to discuss that with them.
Very
So,
good.
I have a lot planned. It's very hard to balance everything, but if you're passionate about something, then you can do it.
Now, is anyone working while they're in college at all?
Work study.
Okay, work study,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Anyone playing sports or doing other stuff?
I'm going to be trying out for the hockey team there. Whether I make it or not, so
I kind of knew that.
Different story.
You mentioned that, or someone mentioned that you were trying out for the hockey team. Now, between work or doing extracurricular activities, which is sort of a necessity in some cases, either work or doing things for the college, that becomes a struggle. I'm not going to lie to you. I remember those days. But when you're doing that, that's a busy schedule.
Yeah.
How do you plan on balancing that?
Well, when I went to URI, like an orientation type of thing, I talked to the coach Joe Augustine over there, and he was telling me how it's Monday through Thursdays practice, 4:30 to 6 at night. So that's kind of difficult time, right? Like at dinner time and like study time, basically. And then weekends is games, Fridays and Saturdays, and the closest road trip is to Stony Brook, New York. Other than that, it's like to Virginia, to maybe Pennsylvania, and you drive up Thursday night and stay in a team hotel. And then one of the questions that came up to him was, how do you balance academics with that? And he said, well, the team has a 3.2 GPA total, and they're proud of how they keep that high. And he said, they'll proctor some exams here on the road. But other than that, I think it'd be really tough considering if you're playing a college sport, that's obviously a huge thing, and that's like not your priority. But if you're good enough to play a college sport, that you gotta make sure you're all in on it. And that, I think balancing that and studies would be a whole new challenge I've never dealt with. So I really can't answer how I'm going to do it because I don't know yet. But
Former students have gone on, we've talked to a few over the years. They've gone on to play, actually a couple of basketball players and a couple of football players. And you're right, it's not difficult. It's something you're going to have to balance, and you're going to find that when you get there. Nick, I want to go back to something you said earlier. You were talking about going with Ivan, okay? Can that be a bad thing when you continue? Nothing against Ivan, because I'm going to ask the same question of you. But is it a bad thing to continue to stay with the people that you've been with for the last 20 12 years.
Yeah.
Should know.
Well, I moved here in 2008, so my 6th grade year, and I automatically clicked with Ivan. Thankfully, we've been friends for all of junior high and all of high school. Really gotten along pretty well. And there could be, some people, they give me that look like, oh, maybe that's not a good thing so much. But I really think that we can keep each other on track because we know what we like, and our interests are pretty common. So as long as we can motivate each other and always stay on top of each other to do your best, I think that would be a good thing.
That's good. I'm going to say something to all of you, and this is a fact, because you hear differently. You'll always be one. You won't. Eventually, as life goes on, this, just by default, life's going to go on. You're going to start to separate from each other, and it doesn't mean you won't talk to each other and look at each other. Hey, I know you. Get away from me, whatever. But you will start to separate from each other because life's going to draw you apart, and you'll make new friends, and that's not a bad or a good thing. Sometimes you hear, but that's a common thing I hear from people who've been out of school for 10 years or so. Right now, I'm 175 years old, and I only have 2 people that I consider I talk to on a fairly regular basis. I go back to my high school days, and one of them I really didn't hang around with in high school. I just happened to, years after we were involved in a Little League, and I became friends with them. But most of my friends evolved either through my college years or my adult life, and that's what happens. So one of the things about, and it doesn't mean you're not together, it's just you're still the class of 2015, but you do sort of separate, and you will find new friends, and that's just part of life. That's a circle of life. You're going to get married possibly, or not get married. You have kids. People with kids tend to hang around with people with kids. People without kids tend to hang around with people without kids, and that's just a fact of life. And so one of the things I asked you that you're friends right now, but 10 or 15 years, I'm not saying you won't, but you might not be. Hey, Ivan, I haven't seen you in 6 months or a year, whatever. And you might get a job in California, become a professional hockey player for Detroit Red Wings, move to Detroit, okay? You're going to be good. But at that point, it's a fact of life. So my point right now is, with all that in mind, if you never see each other again, is that okay?
It'd be really sad.
Yeah.
Just because we've known each other for so long.
And that's it is a sad thing.
Life keeps going.
Yeah.
I mean,
Isn't it a Green Day song? I'm not sure. Somewhere along the line.
I don't know.
Or Beatles song.
You're asking the wrong guy about that.
A Beatles song, all the people in my life, you will know each other, and you'll expand beyond that. And I'm not saying expand. You'll grow in different directions. That doesn't mean you won't stay in contact with each other. In most cases, you won't, though.
Yeah.
So, I guess my own advice to you is life happens and you got to go on. But I am going to say the following, and I'm going to ask one more question. Is anyone signed up for an online class first year? No. I'm not surprised at that.
Not yet, at
I'm
least.
surprised at that because that's where it's going. That's where by the time you finish, I guarantee you, all of you, except for you, but even then,
Maybe.
you still might take a class or two to learn a new skill in what you're doing. You're going to be more than likely taking at least a semester, if not a year's worth of online classes, and that's just the way it's going. And let me ask you a question. 20 years from now in this school, do you need teachers anymore? Do we need teachers anymore?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where it's going away from that.
They're just
Your own
sad.
kids. If you have kids someday, and statistically most of you will, your kids are going to come to school. In my prediction, in my mind, you're going to come to school where they're going to be online, watching someone from Montana or China or Peru or whatever. How do you deal with that?
I kind of want to jump in on that topic about the question is, are you going to need teachers or not? And I think that's 100% yes, because I know in school you learn, obviously the academic portion, like English, mathematics, and science classes, but also a huge part of it is, learning social skills and how to speak respectfully with
Go on
adults.
Facebook.
Yeah, how to talk to adults respectfully, face-to-face, presentations in front of adults, respected adults, how to talk to your peers and not sit in front of a screen your whole time and message them online, how to sit in a show like this and speak in front of a camera and I think social skills is like almost a bigger part than the academics, because in life, like you're not gonna go anywhere if you can be the smartest person but have no social skills or like ability to speak to people, and you're gonna go nowhere at that. So
Actually, from a teaching point of view, I'm actually starting to see that now. You're starting to see students your age with less social skills than they used to. And I know that I sound like an old teacher. Oh, kids are changing, but
No, I
that's a
can-
fact.
I can agree with
That's a
that.
fact, you know. So, but keep that in mind. Thank you for joining us, and good luck in everything you do. Again, I'll buy the product. I will not even come close to your business. Last summer I got stung 5 times, and I think I've been stung my whole life twice. Last summer they just liked me. And anyways, that being said, thank you for joining us on the Mercury. We'll be back in September with a new crew. These guys will be off to college and business and whatever they're doing, and you'll be off in Maine trying to stay out of the cabin fever mode.
Oh, yeah.
So he comes
Going to
back
Canada,
with-
get some poutine.
giant beard.
Lumberjack.
Thank you for joining us on the Mercury. We'll see you next year.